Okay, it's Pete in North Las Vegas again. I'm getting ready to do some of the AC lines now that I have my inner fender in. I've got a better idea of where I can run the lines. So first thing I did today was I had to find some grommets that would fit these heater hoses. When I bought this kit, Vintage did not give you grommets for the heater hoses. They gave me the grommets for the AC lines, but not the heater hoses. So what I found was this 3/4 grommet here. That was the only one I could get to fit that had the proper OD and the ID that I needed. I ended up cutting the center out of them. And then I tried trimming them and splitting them, and yeah, that was the only one that ended up working, and that was this 3/4 here. Okay, so I'm running the GM Serpentine kit, and that puts the R4 compressor, the GM R4 compressor on the passenger side. As far as I know, all the second gen Camaros, if you had AC, looks like the compressor came on the driver's side. And if you're going to run an R4 compressor using the O-ring type fittings, you'll have to get this adapter to fit in the back of the compressor. And they sell two versions. They sell one version with 90-degree hookups or horizontal, which is what I decided to run. And because I'm using easy lock fittings, the servicing port is in line or on top of the bend. Whereas on bead locks, you can get that servicing port on the side with a 90-degree fitting or on the top, depending on what you want. What the? So anyway, looks like I thought my camera turned off. Sorry about that. So anyway, I was getting kind of concerned about hood clearance because of the easy clip fittings. By the time you get this on here, if I went with a vertical mount, I was getting kind of worried about hood clearance. So it works out better for me anyway on my my application here to run the hoses this way. I'm going to run the number 10 straight off the firewall, and then that's going to run to a number 10 straight off the compressor with the servicing port. And then the number 8 discharge, I'm going to run it something like this. I may run it straight down, I may tilt it slightly up, but the idea is to get the number 8 and the liquid line kind of at some point parallel to wrap around the core support and down to the condenser. So I don't have my condenser radiator in, and I'm not planning on putting that in today. So I'll probably get most of this done, but the front end will be another day. So anyway, when I get done with whatever I get done today, I'll do one more video clip on that. Okay, so I guess there's two styles of R4 compressors from what I understand. And one style has a slight recess on the back for these O-rings to go. Either that's the older style or the new style. I don't know which is which. But on my style compressor, it's going to use these. And you'll see that this has a deeper recess and this has less of a recess. So you can see that these are different thicknesses. So it's the thicker one obviously is going to go here with the bigger recess, and the red one that's marked red is going to go over here. And then this is your suction, so that's going to be your number 10 side. And this is your discharge. That's going to be your number 8 side. So you can mount this either way because these are both the same size on this Vintage adapter. So you could inadvertently put the number 10 this way and the number 8 inboard versus the correct way. So number 10, number 8, and it goes like that. Now, this is a little confusing to me because I bought this kit a long time ago. And this is what Vintage sent with the adapter. They sent the O-ring and the flat face adapter. And they give you a couple of different bolts. Mine uses a standard bolt, and the other bolt they provide is a metric. So when I ordered all this AC stuff about 10 years ago, back then I knew what was going on because you had to order these separately. So back when I was setting up my AC and buying all this stuff from Vintage Air, I knew back then that I was going to need this, but it's been a while and I kind of forgot. So I just wanted to go over that difference. Okay, I'm back to being a little bit confused here. These two little adapter collars that fit the IDs of these two came in the same kit. This was just sitting in by itself in the box that I had. And these two, I think, are too thin. There's no way that these will do anything on the back of this compressor. And that must have been some type of original mount that GM used, because I think, if I remember right now, this actually came with the compressor. And so what we got here is this one, and it seems to fit the suction side as far as OD, and it sticks out just about the right amount to make a good seal. And then I have this green one here that's thicker than the red. I know I'm probably confusing the shit out of you guys, but anyway, this green one here seems to fit in the recess about the same as this bigger washer here. So I think these are the two I'm going to use. But I just don't know how I ended up with all this. And okay, so anyway, this is going to go on the suction side. That's going on the discharge side. These O-rings, can't use them. That can't be used. This sits like almost too flush. So it's definitely not for the discharge side. And it's just, the OD is not right. So I think through process of elimination, we're going to use this one and this one, even though this isn't quite as thick as this one. I think it will still be flush enough. Anyway, we'll get this mocked up and I'll kind of see how the fitment looks and see if this looks like it's all going to seal up. Okay, well, as far as I can tell, nothing looks overly not square, and it looks like I've got good contact. The mount is making contact with both the washers all the way around on both sides. So if it is slightly cocked because of a slightly different thickness, it's looks like it all sucked up and it's going to be okay to me. So anyway, it's always the little stuff that gets me. Okay, so if you're using the easy clip fitting and you already have one end made up, you gotta remember to put your compression clips on first before you put your fitting on, because these have a couple of barbs. And I'm not saying that you can't get this back out of the hose, but this vapor barrier is not real thick. So I think by the time you got done pulling this back out because you forgot to put the clips on, you're probably gonna damage the inside of this hose. So you gotta remember to put those on. Okay, so I already kind of talked about this in another video, but not everybody watches all the videos I do. So this is called the cage, and you can see the little groove right there. And sometimes you gotta squeeze that in pretty hard to get it in. And then, like I said, you got to remember to put these clips on if you already have one end made up. And then you slide these over the cage. And then, yeah, as soon as I get it over the cage. Okay, so anyway, you get it over the cage, and it takes these special pliers. Now you notice that one of the jaws has a groove in it, and the other jaw doesn't. And you'll notice on the clamps that there's a raised section, and then on the other side of the clamp it's smooth. So that raised section is where that groove goes. So you're going to put your groove on the clamp like that. If you do it backwards, I think bad stuff's going to happen. So that's kind of important. Okay, so I put these clips on the bottom so you won't see them as much. And then, like I said, you got to make sure that groove goes on the raised section of the clamp. And before I put the fitting in, I used refrigerant mineral oil. So once you hear a good snap, it's in. And we're just going to go to the other side. And I'm just going to try to get them lined up a little bit. Okay, there's a number 10. Suction. Okay, so I got the engine compartment AC hoses routed. I put some heat shielding over this because that part sticks over the headers. And then here's my liquid line, number 8 discharge, suction line. And then I'm going to run the hoses in between around the battery and in between the outer fender. And then I'll rig up some clamps and get it all cleaned up. And then these will come down here to the condenser and the dryer. And I think tomorrow maybe I'll try to get ambitious and maybe get the radiator and the condenser in and finish up the AC. So anyway, that's it for today. Pete, North Las Vegas, over and out.